Welcome back to LFC Transfer Hub, your ultimate home for all things Liverpool. Today we've got huge transfer drama and breaking news. Amorim handed shock Man United escape route after City defeat. Ruben Amorim could be offered lifeline if Man United nightmare ends as bosses of struggling European giants jet in to watch Derby Day defeat. Ruben Amorim can be offered new job as Benfica manager with new presidential candidate keen on him, says Daily Mail. Let's dive in, Reds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Amorim handed shock Man United escape route after City defeat. Ruben Amorim is under increasing pressure at Manchester United. Ruben Amorim could reportedly be offered a way out of Manchester United. On Sunday afternoon, United's poor start to the 25-26 season continued at the Etihad Stadium against rivals Manchester City. A goal from Phil Foden, plus a brace by Erling Haaland, sealed a comfortable 3-0 victory for Pep Guardiola's men. As a result, United are currently 14th in the Premier League table, 8 points behind leaders Liverpool. Looking ahead, the pressure is growing on Amorim, who has yet to impress since moving to United from Sporting Clube de Portugal. Although the results have been poor, it has been reported that United are willing to stick with Amorim for the time being. However, Amorim could be tempted to leave Old Trafford, with a return to Portugal potentially on the cards. According to a report by the Daily Mail, the leading candidate to become Benfica's next president was at the Etihad Stadium and he would like to bring Amorim to the club. João Noronha Lopes is looking to topple Rui Costa and become the next president of the Portuguese Giants, and he is currently leading the polls. Lopes was spotted in the crowd alongside his vice president, Nuno Gomes, who is said to be one of Amorim's best friends, having played with the United boss for Benfica and Portugal. General Director Pedro Ferreira was also in the stands. Gomes had previously claimed that it is Amorim's destiny to return to Benfica. He said, "Ruben Amorim is the coach of Manchester United, I can't answer that question. One thing I know, Ruben Amorim will be the coach of Benfica one day." João has already shown in recent years that he is capable of changing Benfica, to make it greater and different from what it has been in recent years. It is believed that the current boss, Bruno Lage, is unlikely to extend his stay at the Estadio de Luz, with his contract set to expire at the end of the season. The election for the next president of Benfica is set to take place on October 25. Managers who coached both Sporting CP and Benfica. There are only a handful of managers who have been in charge of both Sporting and Benfica, with Amorim potentially being offered the chance to be the latest to do so. If Amorim does leave Old Trafford for the Estadio de Luz, he will follow in the footsteps of Otto Gloria and Jorge Jesus to have took charge of the two Portuguese rivals. Man United make decision on sacking Ruben Amorim after Derby defeat. Manchester United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has reportedly made a decision over Ruben Amorim's future at the club in the wake of their damaging Derby defeat to Manchester City. United were easily beaten 3-0 by rival City on Sunday, with Phil Foden and Erling Haaland, securing a comfortable win for Pep Guardiola's side at the Etihad. United never looked like beating their neighbours and are now 14th in the Premier League, having taken just 4 points from their opening 4 games. That's despite spending more than £230 million in the summer transfer window. The Red Devils forked out big sums to sign Benjamin Sesko, Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo in an attempt to reinvigorate their attack, but looked toothless against City, with Sesko's performance coming under particular scrutiny after another goalless game. United have now made their worst start to a season since the 1992-93 campaign. Meanwhile, Amorim has only managed to secure 8 victories from the 31 Premier League games he has overseen since replacing Erik ten Hag as head coach in November of last year. Speaking after the defeat to City, Amorim was in defiant mood, insisting he would not deviate from his preferred 3-4-2-1 formation despite the lack of positive results. "I won't change my philosophy," Amorim said. "If they, United hierarchy, want it changed, you change the man. Those comments has fueled speculation over Amorim's long-term future and whether Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers could sack yet another head coach. Could Ruben Amorim be sacked? Amorim retains the support of the Manchester United hierarchy despite the club's worst start to a season in 33 years, according to Manchester Evening News reporter Samuel Luckhurst. Amorim, 40, is under contract at United until 2027 and the club is said to have no immediate plans to part ways with the former sporting boss. However, a source close to Amorim has told the Men it is incredible that his position is not under genuine threat. Sky Sports' Kaveh Salhakal has also suggested Ratcliffe has not yet run out of patience with Amorim and is set to keep him in his role. However, he could decide to axe the Portuguese if they become caught up in a relegation fight. If they carry on the way they have started, they will probably end up where they finished last season, in the middle of the bottom half of the table, wrote Salhakal. And if that is the case, it is likely that Ineos will make a change at the top, just as they did last October when United were 14th. Ruben Amorim could be offered lifeline if Man United nightmare ends as bosses of struggling European giants jet in to watch Derby Day defeat. Ruben Amorim could be offered an escape from his Manchester United nightmare after the leading candidate to become Benfica's next president turned up at the Etihad to watch Sunday's Derby debacle. João Noronha Lopes has made no secret of his plans to take Amorim back to Benfica if he usurps Rui Costa in next month's elections, and is currently ahead in the polls. Lopes was at the Etihad to witness United's 3-0 defeat to Manchester City on Sunday when he was pictured with his vice president Nuno Gomes, one of Amorim's best friends who played alongside him for Benfica and Portugal, and general director Pedro Ferreira. It came 24 hours after Gomes told Portuguese media that it is Amorim's destiny to return to the Estádio da Luz where he was a member of the club's academy and spent 9 years as a player. Gomes was asked if their friendship would open the door to Amorim, a boyhood Benfica fan, taking over if Lopes wins the election. He replied, "Ruben Amorim is the coach of Manchester United, I can't answer that question. One thing I know, Ruben Amorim will be the coach of Benfica one day." João has already shown in recent years that he is capable of changing Benfica, to make it greater and different from what it has been in recent years. Current Benfica coach Bruno Lage is unlikely to stay beyond his contract which runs out at the end of the season. The former Wolves boss could go even sooner if Lopes beats Costa and former president Luís Felipe Vieira in the elections on October 25. The Lisbon millionaire has also stated his ambition to re-sign City star Bernardo Silva for Benfica. United sources insisted on Monday that Amorim still has their backing despite the club's worst start to a season in 33 years. However, the former Sporting Lisbon coach cast further doubt over his future after the game by saying he would rather be sacked than change his 3-4-2-1 system. "I am not going to change," he said. "When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man. Until I am here, I will do my best. The rest is not my decision." Man United transfer collapsed after Ruben Amorim met player for dinner. Ruben Amorim reportedly met with one of the Premier League's top players to agree a transfer that eventually fell through. Over the summer, one of the busiest and most exciting transfer windows in recent memory saw several of the biggest names in football move to join Premier League clubs. Almost every single club in England's top flight made statement signings across the 3-month-long summer window, with the likes of Alexander Isak, Benjamin Sesko and Victor Gyökeres all securing moves. Despite finishing last season 15th on the Premier League table, United remained active in the market, signing Sesko, Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, Diego Leon and Sen Lamens while overseeing the departure of several key players. But it has now been revealed that United came agonizingly close to signing one of the standout players of the season so far, after Amorim met with the player and agreed personal terms. In the opening match of the 2025-26 Premier League season, Bournemouth came within minutes of securing a point in a tough away game against reigning champions Liverpool thanks to a standout performance from Antoine Semenyo. Since then, the Ghana international has been linked with several clubs, including United, who are said to have come the closest after Semenyo met with Amorim to discuss a potential move. According to a report from Duncan Castles, United had agreed personal terms with Semenyo after Amorim took him out for a meal to judge his character ahead of a potential move. Speaking on an episode of the Transfers podcast, the journalist revealed, both Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox had direct conversations with Bournemouth about signing the forward, who had scored 11 goals last season. During those conversations, United, I'm told, said they would pay no more than £55 million for the player. They used the same strategy as with Cunha and Mbeumo in that they agreed personal terms with Semenyo before attempting to agree a fee with Bournemouth. They even had Amorim take him for a meal in London at the end of the season, so that Amorim could judge his character. Again, similar as to Cunha and Mbeumo. However, United were not the only club that were interested in signing the star forward, as Tottenham Hotspur also made inquiries about signing him this summer, something that Castles claims Bournemouth used to drive up their price. The report claims that Semenyo would be earning less than 70% of what United are paying Cunha and Mbeumo, which is what ultimately allowed Bournemouth to convince the 25-year-old to sign a new contract until 2030. But that doesn't mean that a future deal for Semenyo is off the table for United, as Bournemouth have reportedly told Semenyo that they would allow him to leave the club after at least one more season at the Vitality Stadium. Micah Richards makes baffling claim on Liverpool win, and Roy Keane disagrees. Micah Richards believes Liverpool's late 1-0 victory at Turf Moor was cruel on Burnley, but Roy Keane rightly disagreed with his claim they deserved a draw. It took until the end of stoppage time for Liverpool to find their breakthrough, and it came in unfortunate circumstances for a stubborn Burnley. Jeremy Frimpong's cross struck Hannibal Mejbri's arm and a penalty was awarded, with Mohamed Salah firing in to maintain the champions' 100% record so far. But it came in a game that saw Liverpool, as the away side, enjoy 81% of the possession and make 27 attempts on goal to Burnley's 3. When it comes to expected goals, the scoreline was 0.13 to 2.65, highlighting that even without the penalty Arne Slot's side deserved the win. Speaking as part of Sky Sports post-match coverage, Richards gave a sympathetic view of Burnley's defeat, saying, "World-class players, that's what they do. Turn up in the big moments. He got his goal, but Burnley, I think it's so cruel, isn't it? Man sent off, still dealing with the threat. In fairness to Slot, he changed it, put Frimpong down there, which caused the penalty, but they didn't deserve that. A draw was a fair result." Sat alongside Richards in the Sky Sports studio, former Man United midfielder Keane provided a more realistic assessment. Burnley showed a lot of grit, but Liverpool deserved to win the game by the way they dominated, he argued. Liverpool lacked quality, their final pass was so off today, but we were sitting there thinking they would get one more chance. And with Burnley, there's a bit of madness at the end, just like at Old Trafford, last time out when they conceded another late penalty to lose 3-2. When you come up, you have got to give yourself a bit of a chance. It's not as if Hannibal's unlucky. It's madness, it's cost them a point. And a point would have felt like a win. So it does knock them. Liverpool stuck at it, you have to keep going until the end. That's what the top teams do. Ultimately, while there can be sympathy for Burnley given how late they conceded, they are simply facing the reality of competing in the Premier League. Having dominated the championship with 100 points from 46 games, they are now forced to adapt and at times rely on fortune in order to grind out results, which is rarely the case against a side as accomplished as Liverpool.
Thanks for watching. Like and comment and subscribe.